Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Tuesday, March 15th, 2022. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Real quick heads up, this is the last pre-market video of the week, as I will be away from the office the rest of the week. Alright, let's take a look here at the ES in the daily time frame here. One thing you'll notice right now is, again, how price continues to show an inability to really drop through to new lows. Every time it gets to a new low here, we're seeing some sort of rejection and a bounce back up. Namely, right here, you're looking at a push back above the previous session's low, and we are now returning back toward the previous session's midpoint. That's a fade after trend day move already in effect. However, given the downtrend we have in the short term and in the medium term, morning strength tends to be sold for late day weakness. Very similar to what we saw yesterday. We had early strength early in the day, and then after those highs were put in, we dropped to new lows on the day. So we could still see that play out, especially once price gets to the previous session's midpoint at or around that 4,200 level. If there's a failure to get through that point, that could offer another opportunity here to drop this thing back down and approach the previous month's low. Again, this market continues to see overall downtrending price action, and until proven otherwise, we still see more weakness ahead. But in the short term here, it's hanging in there right now, rejecting the previous session's low and returning to the midpoint. However, price would really need to find acceptance through that midpoint and perhaps even become a bullish outside day, and even then it still would be in a range and could be offered down the road. So despite any kind of strength here, it would really need a major day to turn this thing around. But at the moment, hanging in there at the previous session's low. If you take a look here at the NQ, this one is the same here. Selling pressure the previous session here had an early rally to the day, and then that was sold for a continuation downward the rest of the day. You'll notice right here, previous session's low, and this is the low of the year. We just took out that low of the previous month, put in a new low for the year, and are now back above the previous session's low. That lower low failure in pre-market trading here opened up a nice return back up, and again, we could see a move back to the previous session's midpoint. That would tend to be the target on a fade after trend day. That's 13,228. So 13,228 is that target. Overall, once we do see that bounce, we continue to see weakness here. So will morning strength lead to afternoon weakness again, or can price find acceptance beyond that previous session's midpoint? That's what we'll be watching for here as we head into the rest of the session. If we take a look here at crude oil, down 6.5% today and trading 96s. This is what we mentioned last week, in that its inability to hold the 106 market structure there would open up 96, a retest back below. As you recall, crude oil has 10-point market distributions here that go all the way down to 66 here. Is when we initially mentioned it, to 76 to 86, then up to 96, 106 and beyond. And so to break back below the 106 level, we've now dropped into 96s. Price at 9 days, or 9 points rather, of range today, and that's only 80% of average. This thing has been trading 11.3 points per day on a 10-day basis and 12 points per day on a 5-day basis. We're at 9 points right now, on the way down. Very strong top at 130.5. The failure to hold 116 opened up 106. The failure to hold 106 opens up 96. But this is a different market structure from 95 up and to the right. On this day when 96s went bid, that is a different set of market structure up here. Likely to see this thing hold and trade between 96 and 106 here for a bit. If it fails here, it opens up the 86 level down below. Alright, let's take a look here at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is basically break even on the day so far, a couple of doji days in a row. The current one in development. if we take a look here again, range bound this entire time, and for the most part this market has been sideways over the last 3 days. Very narrow 3-day range. If we quantify that right there, you'll see 47% of average range, 2,765 points is the range. That's from this high to that low, that 3-day range. And it's a developing 3-day range. You can see right here, below the 65%, when it gets below there, there tends to be a pop in price range and volatility. Boom, like this, boom, like this. Here, here, right? That type of move, that type of move. So the expectation right now would be for some sort of increased volatility soon. Perhaps not today, but if we finish the day within range at like this, we could see a breakout pretty soon where we increase in volatility and see perhaps a 6,000 point move. Now, that could still keep us inside the range. You can go 6,000 to the upside and just be at the top of the range. It would be a move kind of like this, where you have a narrow 3-day range and it pops for 2 or 3 days. Over here where you're compressed a little bit and then you go boom. So 2-day narrow and then you get 1-day pop. So we're going to see perhaps a 1-day move, likely higher off this lows. This market has not really been one to really fall below 37 half, 36 or even below that. And if it does, it doesn't stay long. So the likelihood would be for this thing to pop, but we'll see which way we go. Building right now a very narrow 3-day range that could lead to a breakout here very soon, and that breakout could give us about 6,000 points of range. All right, taking a look here at Ether futures. A similar narrow range. You can see right here, 3-day narrow range, super compressed. It's also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days narrow if you wanted to go that route as well. So we can bring this up to a 7-day narrow range. And there's the quantification. You can see over here it's only 333 points of range. That is very narrow. Again, very stable at the moment, considering we're at 52% of ADR. But that compression will likely bring up the next major move one way or another. And since we are near the bottom end of this range, maybe there's one shakeout leg to the downside and then we see the range reverse to the upside. Kind of like this here where it dropped first, rejected, and then it pounced. It dropped, rejected, and bounced. But at the moment, still compressed, but over a 7-day stretch, we could be looking at about a 750 point move. 750 points. So if price drops, say to 2,300, 2,300 plus 750 takes you up to 3,000 and just beyond. So we could be looking at a push higher. So we'll see which way we get our pivot or the initial breakout. And once we get that strong low or that transition day, we'll have a better target right away. But this thing building energy on a 7-day basis, potential of 750 points of range could be seen ahead. Just got to see which way we're going. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you when I return. All right, that's it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.